Hi, this is Catherine again, and we're going to be continuing talking about our physical science unit. We're on lesson 6, and its title is What's It Made Of? And again, the students are going to be working on using their observation skills, and I like, again, using that word observation to discuss what different objects and items are made of. I would also like to remind students at this point usually that they're going to use all their senses to observe objects, like how it feels, how it smells, also what it looks like. And usually I like to start this by having kids just looking at the items that they're wearing. And usually I have kids look at their shoes first. So what they're going to do is look at their shoes and kind of spend some time observing what they're made of, maybe how their shoes are different from a pair of shoes. Are they made of canvas? Are they made of leather? Are they boots? And kind of discussing the different attributes of their shoes. And then from there, I kind of move on talking about their different clothing, their shirts, their pants, how are they different, how are they the same, and then also talking about why different materials are needed to make different objects. Why are your shoes a thicker material? Even though they're all material, how are they different from each other? Why do you need a leather material on shoes when you don't necessarily need that for a shirt? That a shirt is softer, or it contains different attributes, and why that's necessary. And then at that point, I usually like to decide or tell the students why scientists and engineers use different materials to make different objects. And usually we kind of like to be a little silly with this and talk about how what would happen if a car was made out of paper, or what would happen if a house was made out of marshmallows. And you could even kind of go back to their clothing that they're wearing and talk a little bit about what would happen if your shirt was made out of plastic. Would that be uncomfortable? And again, kind of reminding them over and over again that scientists do this all the time. They make choices based on observations about what would be the best material to use. And again, reminding them about different materials like wood, fabric, plastic, metal, and discussing what would be the best materials maybe to build a house or to build a car. And then from there, what I like to have them do is ask the kids to find things around the room with different properties. Like you might want to find a crayon and tell us what that's made of, wax and paper, or a pencil that's made of wood. And I give them a little time to walk around the room and find different objects that way. If you want to make it a little shorter, maybe have some of those objects laid out on a table so they're not spending a lot of time walking around the room. And then the small group piece of this, which you could also do as a center or a small group or an individual project, is to make a sorting book of different materials. And what you want to give each student is the sorting book itself and also the sorting papers. And on the sorting paper is just a list of different objects. And what I have the kids do before I even pass them out the sorting book is I hand them the sorting paper of objects, and I have them color it and cut it out and make individual cards. When they're done doing that, what I have them do is I give them this other paper, the book, which might be a good idea to give it to them in stages, and I show them how to fold the book. So what you're gonna have your students do is hold the paper flat on the upside down on the desk, and they're going to fold it in half, and then fold it again in half with the fold and the open side open. So you have 4 individual pockets. So then it should look like this, where you have each piece in the bottom. Then I have them kind of stretch it out, and they're going to fold open up the bottom so that they can tape it on each end, and it will make individual pockets for them to put their sorting cards in. And from there, what you want them to do is use the cards they've cut out and to sort them into different categories: wood, fabric, plastics, and metals. When they've completed that, what I like to have them do is come back to the whole group and share their results, show where they sorted the different objects into. Some things that are a little tricky that the kids have a harder time with is the grocery bag. Maybe they think that that is a plastic or a fabric, depending, or the laundry basket, and I kind of like to give them the chance to talk about maybe objects they have at home that might make it a little different. So when we're completed with that and we've talked about each of the objects and how they sorted it, what I like to do is take out our little bag of sample materials, just to kind of wrap up the lesson, and I take out each one of these materials and we talk about what they're made of. And one of the best discussions we usually have is the two different fabrics, and they talk about how they're different and maybe what would make them, what would make you use one fabric versus another to make a different object. And from there, we're done with the lesson.